And the question is, um, as we go along on this journey of what's going on, and I'm going to call it my journey specifically here for this, is I have been coming to a lot of realizations of who I was versus who I am, and where I am headed and where my internal being already is. And I think that's the piece of this is me catching up to my internal being, my basically the idea of that vibration being a full match. And as I've been, especially in the last few weeks, I've been having really good moments of clarity and focus and learning of being caught up with where my internal being already is. I think my question for today is, how do I continue with that momentum, or can I build even more momentum to make that happen faster? And and really be clear about becoming who I know my internal being knows I am.
Your inner being, the larger part of you, the wiser part of you, the more experienced part of you that is within you, so to speak, meaning you feel the connection within you. You feel the impulses within you, but it is a larger part of you. It is a vibrational essence. It is an energetic essence. It is the all of you in an energetic form within you and without you. Meaning it is outside of you. It is your energetic experience that has already come into being. And it is your knowing that all things are possible. It is your knowing that we are here with you. It is your knowing that when you have asked, you have already received, because your inner being, that essence which is within you, has already done the work. It has already flowed to you and through you. It is already aligned with the energy of that which you desire and that which you desire to experience. It has already done the experiencing, so to speak, by becoming the energy. And so, thus, the root of your question is, how do I come into alignment with that experience? How do I come into alignment and feel less of the gap of the energy? It's as to say, I know that I want to head to San Francisco, but I'm very much aware that I am living in Mexico, and that feels very far away to me. But I'm aware that I used to live down in Antarctica, but now I'm up in Mexico, but I still feel like I have quite a ways to go. And we would say to you that you need to take your eyes off of the destination of how far away it feels, because that's only putting resistance on your trail. Just as when you go outside and you go run a journey for your own experience, when you stop paying attention to how far it is or how much farther you have to go to reach your goal, suddenly you are past the finish line and are eager for more. And we use that analogy because you are never going to be at the finish line, because as you move along your experience traveling from your place in Mexico up the coast to Santa Barbara, well, Santa Barbara will launch new experiences for you that will now move your final destination up into Alaska. And so thus you will travel and hop your way around this world, both literally and figuratively, as you allow yourself to expand. So the less poetic answer is to say to you, there is always going to be a gap. But the better question is, how can I make that gap as small as possible? How can I enjoy the experience of the gap as much as possible? Meaning, how do I keep it at just the right space where I feel like I am up to speed and things are flowing into me and feeling good to me, and I'm allowing them to come? How do I flow with myself while allowing my inner being to flow with my desires, to become more with my desires? How do I flow with that where I am aware that my inner being is carving out the trail for me? My inner being is always carving out the trail for me and allowing me to know that what I have just received as my new desire is now possible, because I have thought it is now possible. I have received the impulse. I have aligned with the energetic possibility of the impulse, and thus my inner being says, okay, now I will become that. You now know that your inner being has already done it, so you now know that it is possible. And so when you stay just enough away where you are launching your desires, receiving your desires, and recognizing your desires, and then allowing yourself to flow with them, that the desires feel juicy, they feel good, they feel evolving, but they don't feel like they will never happen. You aren't to the point where you are pining for them. You aren't to the point where you're feeling at a loss for them. You aren't at the point where you feel angry for them. That is when your separation, so to speak, the distance between you and that larger part of you, is in perfection. You are in the state of belief and allowing and knowing that it will happen. You are in the state of alignment with your inner being, going out and forging the path ahead of you. You are in the state of flowing with your impulses and following the impulses to receive and achieve those desires, the experience of those desires, the emotional feeling manifestation of those desires. And so when you flow with them, you flow with them. You stay up to speed with them. But when you have allowed yourself to have a gap for quite some time, it can feel as if there is far to go. And in this case, we would say, stop paying attention to how far you have to go. Just keep allowing yourself to flow forward. Keep allowing yourself to feel, to flow forward and feel it, to feel your way forward through the energy flowing to you and through you. Because the gap that you are aware of is the gap in your guidance, the connection. You want the feeling of a stronger guidance flowing to you and through you that says, now do this, now do that, now do this, that you can pick up impulses faster, that you can pick up more impulses specifically tuned to you and for you from your inner being. And so thus we would say to you, pay attention to that feeling within you. Pay attention to what you are feeling as the guidance within you and follow it. Follow it just for the fun of it. Because this is a new skill for you, meaning it's not something you have practiced for years upon years. And when you have stopped kicking the ball, so to speak, it takes a while to get your feet to limber up again and remember what it feels like to touch the ball and handle the ball in just the right way. To feel like you can master that ball on the field again. And so we would say to you, just take the ball out and play with it and kick it around on the field. Kick it around and feel it again. Feel it again and remind yourself what it feels like. Remind yourself what it feels like to be connected with your knowing. To play games with it, to not be so serious about it, to not feel like if I don't follow this impulse, maybe my whole life will end right now. Maybe I won't be able to bring in the money. Maybe I won't be able to get the job. Play with it in simpler ways. Feel the impulses that are coming to you from your inner being with regards to the games of what aisles to go down in the grocery store, what clothes to buy for yourself, where to go to buy clothes for yourself, what path to take to get to where you want to go, meaning I'm not going to use my GPS. I will allow my inner being to guide me there. And I'm not going to think my way through this. I'm going to feel it within me. I'm going to feel the impulse of turn here, turn there, turn here. And that doesn't mean that your inner being is going to take you directly from point A to point Z. It may take you on a circuitous route. It may take you in a little zigzag way, because there are things that your inner being may want you to see that will delight you, that will surprise you, that will light you up and bring you joy. And that is the part that you must remember, is that your inner being, that part of you who is you, knows exactly what you are wanting to experience along your trail, that you have forgotten about, that you have yet to become aware of, that you have joyfully asked for but are not consciously asking for. You have energetically asked for it in your state of being, in your vibrational asking. And so when your inner being is speaking to you, your inner being is bringing you along the path that can deliver all those nuances to you. So we would say, play with your inner being and feel your way through it. Have fun with it, so that when you receive the impulse at the times that it does matter to you, it feels less like life and death, meaning you are comfortable with the impulse. You know that that impulse means I need to go this way. Even when the world is screaming at you, no, you need to go this way, you will say, I know that this is the path I need to take. I need to go left when you are all going right, because left is my way to my rightness, to my feeling good about me, to my enjoying my life here in this world, to my being my life in this world. And it is my inner being that is guiding me, that is telling me right now that my path is left. And so I'm sorry that all of you feel I must go right with you, but I know this feeling because I have felt this feeling for quite some time. I have been training myself in this feeling by playing with it, by kicking the ball around, so to speak. That I know this feeling so concretely, so securely, that I know if I don't follow it, well, I'm going to be way off in a land on a path that I don't want to be. And you've already experienced that feeling. You already know what that feeling feels like. And it does not lead to outcomes that you want. So this time, allow yourself to practice the feeling. Practice trusting the impulse, receiving the impulse, feeling the impulse, and then seeing what happens, what kind of joyful things happen, what kind of joyful things you open yourself up to receiving as a result of you listening and following that impulse. And that is how you close the gap, because as you trust those impulses, as you communicate, as you allow that communication in and you trust your inner being, you trust that guidance, well, the faster you go, the faster you go, the faster you go. Such that your inner being is not having to take you on the roundabout ways. Your inner being can more concretely give you more of the path and say, you need to do this, this, and this, and give you longer segments that you are ready for. It does not mean it's going to give you every segment, but it can give you longer segments and longer segments and longer segments because you are ready for it and you will flow through those segments. And yes, there will still be times where you just need a turn at a time and a turn at a time. But in this case, the more you trust it, the more the plan will unfold for you. The more the plan will be shown to you be understood by you. In essence, you will feel the impulse of, I need to turn here, but you will also receive the knowing of, I need to turn here because there's going to be traffic if I go the other way. The details will fill themselves out for you as you gain your confidence in the receiving, as you trust in the knowing of this guidance, as you trust in the relationship of you with you. And that is all we're really trying to get any of you to do, is to trust in the relationship of you with the larger part of you. That is where true joy lies. That is your connection to you as source energy, is in that relationship of you with you. Because when you do that, you stop listening to everyone else, because there is no one else like you who should be giving you advice. They are not you. They are not your inner being. They do not have your inner being. So why on earth are you listening to them for your guidance? They aren't going to have your path. They're going to have their own. And if you always are going on someone else's path, well, your journey is going to be extremely unsatisfying. So listen to your own guidance, because your own guidance is leading you down your path, the path that you desire, the path that you have created in your asking. Listen to your path that is calling to you in the form of your inner being who has already created it, already walked it, already become it for you. And your inner being is calling you down the road that you have asked for in your experience and all the juicy, joyous things that you have been desiring. It is all there for you, all that you want, all that you have been wanting to experience, all that you will experience. It is there for you. We are satisfied in this answering, and we feel that you received it. Is there more that you would like to know?
On that, not so much. I think what was really good for me was the I'm gonna call it the what's the word? The equation of momentum to your impulses, and I think, at least for me, thinking about it that way is the impulses really are that your momentum moving forward, but it's so much cleaner and so much nicer to hear that you're in control of that, and that's from you, and you get to be better about that.
Indeed. You are always in control of you, and for many of you that is simultaneously frightening and yet bringing relief to you, particularly when you are feeling previously that your life was dictated outside of you. It can feel overwhelming to you when you become aware that you are in control of you at all times, meaning you are in control of the experience that you are creating. You are in control of your experience that you are creating at all times. And so, thus, when you have lived a life where you believed you are not in control, it can be overwhelming when you feel that you are thrust into a world where suddenly you are now responsible for your creating. But the simple realization is that you are always responsible for it. You were always in control of it. You just were not aware of it. Now you are, and that is a powerful realization when you realize that you are in control of what you are creating through your vibrational essence, the vibration you are emitting, which comes from a mixture of the thoughts that you are thinking that then result themselves into your beliefs. And the resistance and the mix of resistance that is still within you as a result of your experience, your life experience, and the thoughts that you are thinking.